Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're here with yet again another episode of Shadow and Bone, the second episode. Last time on Shadow and Bone, an introduction to the world. I think it's Ravka at the very least. I think that's where we are in the first episode. Um, the show has done and I think I mentioned it in the last episode. I think they've done a great job so far of just laying the foundation, showing us who all the major players are, and as the wheel continues to turn, who will be at the top and who will be at the bottom. All the power plays, all the characters that we've been introduced to have just been really intriguing. I did mention, and someone commented on the last video, that the set design was just so brilliantly done. I'm not quite sure how to place it. I think some have suggested maybe there's some Russian influence in terms of the military outfits, or some said German. So I'm not sure, but whatever it is, wherever the influence was drawn from, I do like it quite a bit. It reminds me somewhat of, and I watch a lot of anime, so I usually draw a lot of comparisons there, but it has a steampunk look and feel to it, though maybe not quite steam. But I do see some familiarities from watching things like Steam Boy, or even Full Metal Alchemist and stuff like that. So I do quite like the the set design and the outfit, the design of the outfits that they're wearing and stuff like that. Even the skiff that they're using to travel through the fold has an interesting design to it as well. So I'm quite enjoying the set pieces a whole lot. So yeah, from what we know so far, there is an ongoing war, I think. Ravka is where our characters are, but we seem to be switching between both sides of the fold, I think. I think Kaz's group is on one side, and Alina's group is on another. I could be mistaken, but I think that was my takeaway. So I mean, they were traveling to the fold. Unfortunately, they were attacked because some idiot decided to light a lamp. He got one instruction: no light. Regardless, so they were attacked, and Alina had to essentially unleash her power, though I'm assuming not willingly or with any control whatsoever. So it's something she's gonna have to learn to do. But now the secret's out, and everyone seems to be after her. I do wonder. I mean, they said sun summoners are very rare, similar to I think it's shadow summoners. And I'm curious to know what other application, whether or not her ability is just purely for the use of removing the fold altogether. What implications are for removing the fold, if there is any. Since the spell was apparently put up so long ago, it must have been there for a reason. So I'm curious to know why it was put up. If it's removed, what will happen? And because all these, is it just a matter of commerce, so it's easier for them to for persons to travel back and forth between the lands, or is there something far more sinister that's being contained there? So it's all very compelling, all very interesting, and I can't wait to find more. So episode 2, let's check it out. Oh, we're back. Another flashback.
If you're Grisha and you go and live in a little palace and eat sweet melon and curse candies with special coats.
Grisha.
How does the test work?
For you it won't. They don't do the test if you're sick.
I guess they just check the orphanages for people with abilities, and then they'll take them if they're Grisha. But she is a sun summoner, so how did she not get caught up in all that? I don't think he's special, at least not yet.
Don't you want to know if you're Grisha?
Oh, okay. That answers my question. She didn't want to get tested. All right, so we're back on the skiff. I can tell so far I'm wondering whether it's a case where once you go through the fold, there's a time, it moves you forward in time or something, because we are following two different timelines on each side, it appears. Oh, a healer.
Bring her to the general's tent.
Who? But I'm not done yet.
You can go with her.
It's too big an investment not to.
I can't go. You will.
Hey, why can't she go? What does that tattoo mean?
I can't crack this, none of us are going anywhere.
And if you do?
Then maybe you stay here.
Maybe I won't be here when you get back.
It's not like he's not coming back. Or is he? I think she was looking at the heart render when she was doing her thing as well, and she also had a tattoo, a mark, so that surely has some significance. Okay, so Kirigan is here, so that means they went back the way they came, right?
Closer.
Oh, he travels fast.
What are you?
Alina Starkov, assistant cartographer, Royal Corps.
Didn't ask who you are, he said, what are you?
What are you?
Map maker.
I remember this actor from The Punisher, actually. Billy? Did a fantastic job there, so I'm intrigued to see his
Grow up.
character here.
Crimson.
And when were you tested?
I wasn't. Lie. How are they gonna figure it out? Just lie. All right, they do have a way to test.
Corporal, you're wounded. She's in trouble. How so? Because she's using grease, and when they realise they made a mistake, what do you think they'll do to her?
Yeah, but she didn't know herself, so. I guess she is. How good is this ability, though? It's someone's light. Doesn't feel very practical. Outside of the fold, I mean. It's not as though she lied to you, man. She didn't know. Oh, damn. Yeah, Pecker is mad. He had that other guy that was at with the pistol, right? So where is he?
You got the jump on whatever job he has.
He knows how to get through the fold.
You can do nothing. Walk away from it. I'll tell Dreesen I'm taking over for you. And we're even, not even.
Or?
The other option is... I'll cave your head in with your own cave.
Oh, I thought I was gonna make a deal and say, okay, yeah, I have a way through the fold. Let's work together. My bad. Yeah, of course not. This guy is doing a lot with just 2 men. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Oh, look, there they are. You're on the cusp of going on a job worth a lot. Be on guard, man.
Of course she calls for me now.
Watching the menagerie?
She.
On company?
No.
No, I was just attacked while you guys were downstairs. And did they just pass them?
You've been here every night for a week. You don't play Macca's Wheel or Ratcatcher, only cards.
Is she a spy?
an incentive to keep playing.
Okay. Why?
West Ravka? What's Caravel?
West Africans count their money from one hand to the other, but people out east who work the mines in Sikursk, they count.
Oh. He's very perceptive. Very smart.
My daughter is Grisha. Neither of us wanted her to fight in the war. Buy a title.
Found his way across.
He left us with a stage performer who took us in for a few nights. Poppy.
Seems like she could be a good asset. I'd keep her around. Well, so far it doesn't appear they want to harm her, but I suspect they will use her.
But why she's around Grisha?
Soldier. She is one now.
She looks shorter than she was in the last scene. I thought the other guy was the owner of the menagerie. The guy that Pekka was, well, I think he killed him in the last episode. So does that mean she's in charge now? Oh, okay.
That one's new.
And I'm guessing she has another one that's hidden. Always keep a spare. Oh, that's a mark. Because he hasn't completed his payments as yet.
Kaz doesn't have that.
Why follow the rules though? I mean,
I like what you have.
Find this man. Staying tonight at this address. And kill him for me.
I mean, it seems like everyone else is breaking the rules, so
And you are free and clear.
who's the man? I really hope she doesn't end up killing the guy that Kaz actually needs, Poppy, or the conductor, because she's just gonna mess up his plans and hers, but you know, by extension, without even realizing it.
First army, back at Krubirsk, 1,000 soldiers marching with us. Isn't that safer than this?
Slower and not safer. Not really.
They already know, so that's a bit pointless.
You know why the little palace has walls in the first place? Because for years, being Grisha was a death sentence. At least now, that's General Kirgin protected.
He's not entirely wrong. I mean, she will need to. Now that she's in everyone's sights, she has no choice but to learn how to use it. What's the connection with the Fool and them having to protect themselves behind palace walls? It's not an obvious ambush.
Stay here and don't.
How does everyone know all this already? Like they just figured out that she was a Sunstone and they're already setting ambush. Oh. Okay. Not bulletproof. What kind of ability was that? Okay, are they trying to take her or kill her? Because they're just shooting carelessly. I wonder if these are like advanced heart renders. Like they can do what the girl did back in the last episode, just offensively. Trying to force her out. Squaller is dead. They call her a witch, so it looks like they want to kill her. Oh. That's a surprise. Didn't expect him to follow them. Nice. The darkness comes. Alright, I take back everything that I said about the abilities not being practical outside the fold. I'm guessing if she learns how to manipulate her abilities, she may be able to do something more than just the light. Now, why is he here? They seem too important to just be riding alone. Alright, I don't know if Kirgan is a good guy or a bad guy, as I don't trust him quite yet. But I gotta say, the practical abilities that they're using for the effects, for the actual special skills, is actually pretty well done. Alright, so I need to understand that about Inej. Why is she... What is preventing her from killing others, especially when she's carrying daggers and knives? Does everything he has? Does everything he possess? Is it black or some? Yeah, apparently. And I'm not hating. My favorite color is actually black, although it's a shade, not a color. But I dig it.
I meant how you sliced one of them in half from a dozen paces.
No, he did save you. Is it really, to question how or why now? Well, the why, but not the how.
But it requires tremendous skill, and I would only use it as a last resort.
This quickly, I'm wondering the same exact thing. Oh, okay.
I'm scared of you.
I think they're more scared of you.
Why?
What your power means to it.
What happens when the fold is destroyed, and why would these people be opposed to that?
Any of this. Why can't you get rid of it?
Do you think I haven't tried, Miss Starkov? If I enter the fold, I'm a beacon for the vault.
Dragged me away from my only friends, and now according to you, I'm going to be a target for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that much of a gift at
someone
moments.
with this power. Maybe it's because they don't want to be found.
But you have no choice here. It's too late. Everyone knows about you. I mean, at this stage, just get rid of the fold and then leave. You know, would she still be a target if she removed it? I don't think so. Yeah.
Excuse me, soldier.
Alina Starkov.
This is above your pay grade, man.
I know she's not worth the risk until the king tells me so.
She's worth it, sir.
Yeah, to you.
We would win this war because one of them was worth 50 of us. Then the revolver pistol came in from the west. I was told Grisha was worth 24. Before they are just as useless.
Yeah, in a way he's right, because the technology appears to be advancing enough where, I mean, they just killed several Grisha with just guns back at the ambush there. So I guess it depends. I mean, a Shadow Summoner seems to be very powerful, and I'm guessing a Sun Summoner could be equally as powerful, more so than a Squaller or an Inferni.
been a while, Poppy.
Oh, this is Poppy.
I see you're still up.
Oh, used to be the owner of the club.
Find someone. Or at least learn how to find them. Tonight.
Looking for a club actor, are we?
I'm looking for the conductor.
You know, I'm wondering, this prize that they're supposed to be retrieving for 1 million, is it supposed to be Alina?
Tontaline wrote you.
She was asking about the conductor as well.
She wanted you to do that so she could have the messenger followed.
She wouldn't hurt him, would she?
She would, if it meant hurting me.
Is that Inej's target? Well, they said she won't kill him.
You've got it all wrong. I'm not in her business.
Or she won't kill.
Steal people. How many silly inventions have
I liberate families.
All this could have been avoided if she and Kaz were speaking to each other.
Who are you looking for? Your parents, a sibling, sister.
I came to catch him on a Labour merchant ship. I don't know where he went.
I don't run in those circles, really. You're likely after longshoremen or stevedores. You take side money from people like me.
Ask the saints for me.
Don't!
Yeah, but if you do that, you're never getting across. I mean, if Kaz is already agreeing to finish his payments, then
You assume it's one.
stick to the original plan.
We'll be safe here. Palace is the most secure building in the whole country.
Am I a prisoner?
Of sorts.
All of Ravka is. Until you and I banish the fall.
Okay, I thought someone was there. I guess it's just everything that's happened to her. Spent her entire life in an orphanage, and then just like that ends up in a palace with a He is determined. I mean, even if he goes to the palace, they're never going to let him in.
What are you doing?
Keeping a friend from making a mistake.
It's not a mistake. You can't just walk in there, Mal. That place is a fortress filled with people who can kill you with merely a clean line of sight. You can't even get in the gate without a form limit.
Into the palace, be a hero, get a medal. That will get you invited.
Sound plan. A lot better than the one that he's going with. I mean, it'll take time, but... My point exactly.
A secret from him. Isn't he mad at her?
She didn't know.
Who fools the brother? When our closest friend is in trouble, we do foolish things.
The Crow Club.
What do you have?
That good person be enough.
His ownership to the club. What I don't get is all these bad guys are not playing by the rules. She just tried to sabotage his plan. So why is he trying so hard to play by the rules? But, you know, just sneak Inej out with you and then repay the debt when you get back. All right, episode 2. Yeah, that was another fantastic episode. Actually, I like this one perhaps even more than the very first episode. Because it just introduced a few interesting premises. You know, as far as the Grisha and where exactly they are in terms of their status within all of Ravka, I suppose. So initially, apparently, they were seen as somehow lesser, but then, you know, the military saw utility in them and their abilities. They've somehow, according to them, Kurgan helped to find them some form of security. But I don't understand because he's not that old, and the war seems to have been going on for quite some time now. Perhaps he helped the army to see how they can be utilized, maybe, and they convinced the king of that. They mentioned a king. I don't think he was mentioned in the last episode. So there is a king of Ravka, I'm assuming. The army, the army general mentioned that again. So we haven't met the king as yet. You know, assuming king is a normal human. So that would be interesting. I'm curious to see how the hierarchy actually works in this world. But yeah, so I mean, he's helped them to see how the Grisha can be utilized in war, but they're becoming more and more irrelevant as the technology and weaponry advances. You know, so before they were worth 50 soldiers, and then they were worth 24, and then so on and so forth. So I mean, I at that point, I struggle to see why these humans would, you know, frown upon them or look at them with scorn, because I mean, essentially, y'all are in the same position, you know, or they will be at some point in the same position where, you know, you're only as valuable as what you can do for the army, and as the other countries or nations develop weapons, you know, it's just going to be maybe not necessarily 1-to-1, because in a 1-to-1 battle, the Grisha seem to have an advantage, but with weapons, we did see at the ambush that, you know, the Squaller got taken out, not pretty easily, but, you know, he can be taken out by just, I think, just a sniper. So it's interesting. It reminds me of quite a few shows, actually. But more recently, something that's happening in Attack on Titan, in that storyline where the Titans are becoming less valuable because, you know, the other nations have developed technology to the point where they're becoming irrelevant. So that bit I found very interesting. Kaz and Inej really do need to start talking to each other, because a lot of that could have been avoided had they just spoken. I'm curious to know why she... Well, maybe that was the explanation at the end. I was wondering why she wouldn't kill, because she seems so heavily armed, you know. As Jasper said, she has more knives than he has teeth. But it was explained that, I think that was the explanation at the end with the conductor. Her faith, I suppose, is what prevents her from taking a life. So and they dropped a bit there where, you know, she has a brother out there somewhere. I do wonder whether we've met him and we just don't know it yet. Whether there's some character that we're following, but we just haven't met them. I'm still having trouble figuring out, you know, there are a few time skips going, you know, from scene to scene, right? Because even with Kaz's group, they were saying, okay, well, not Kaz, but Miles' group, when he was speaking to his friends at the tent, and they were saying she would likely be at the palace by tomorrow. But then the scene before that, she was already at the palace. It could just be them not getting information as quickly because, you know, the distance. But there are a few scenes like that where I have to be trying to match where the timeline actually is versus where the scene actually is taking place. So it's a bit jarring at times, but I'm getting accustomed to it. I think maybe over the next few episodes it'll become a bit more clear. I did love the fighting scenes with the ambush, because it reveals some interesting uses for the abilities. The guys that were in the chariot with Alina, when they were fighting, I think they were heart renders, but the heartrunner that we met in the previous episode, I was questioning whether she was forcing him to give information or whether she was just calming him. And I'm realizing, judging by using these guys as a basis, I'm guessing that it's a situation where the name literally suggests a heart render, where she can manipulate their heart to some extent. And these two soldiers are just using it offensively. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty fantastic fight, and I can't wait to see how more of these abilities are applied, and you know, the give and take between those hunters, I guess, that attack the carriage. I'm curious to know what, you know, they call her a witch, so I guess these are people who fear the you know, the Grisha, and I think they should be wiped out. Kirigan is he's a notable character. I'm curious. I'm not sure whether I want to trust him, because he seems to have good motives, but I think he's willing to go as far as, you know, possible to get to accomplish his goals, and that I can see that, you know, not working out for our protagonist very well. But his abilities are amazing. I made a bit of a joke there about his fashion choice because he's dressed in all black, but as I said, black is also my favorite color / shade. So I definitely love it. Seeing his ability used offensively as well, I was questioning whether a Sun Summoner ability has any practical effect, but I imagine she can use it in some way that he can. He said only summoners can cut, which was really interesting. So I'm guessing these are the two that are classified as summoners, right? And that the Squallers and Inferni can't really do that. So I'm guessing so I suppose she can actually do something similar to what he did. So that is very intriguing. So I can't wait to see how her abilities actually develop, and whether their relationship will become better or worse as she learns more about what he's trying to accomplish. And the fold. What are the repercussions of removing the fold? You know, I'm curious to know. He said he has tried, but he just makes it worse, essentially, because I gotta say, I like that dynamic with how the abilities are actually used. When you compare it to something like the Avatar, for example, you know, a firebender can create fire, but they can also remove fire. But what the writers have done here is they've created a dependency between the different elements or abilities. Where Sun the opposite of Shadow, but Shadow can't remove Shadow. It has to be removed by Sun. And the same thing with the Squallers and the Inferni. We were seeing them in the training camp, and the Inferni lit one of the dummy that we were training with, and, you know, a Squaller has to put it out. So there's some dependency with the abilities that what they can only create, and another ability has to extinguish. You know, so that I think creates an interesting dynamic, you know. So I'm very intrigued by that, and I like how they've actually made that concept work. So yeah, I'm very enjoying this very much, guys. I'm actually quite impressed by what I've seen so far. So I cannot wait for the next episode. Finally though, I mentioned Kaz and Inej before, but something that I'm just, you know, why is Kaz trying so hard to play by the rules? He made an investment in Inej, and I now understand he's a businessman, and maybe that is what is driving his decision to try to play by the rules to keep his reputation in check. But the lady that owns the Menage, she's not playing by the rules. She just tried to sabotage him. So why wouldn't he just sneak Inej out, you know, pay his debt when he returns, when he gets back, you know, rather than giving up the club as collateral, because no one else is playing by the rules. You know, she's not, so why is he trying to stick to the rules? And say, hey, I'll pay you when I get back. I mean, he still did it, but he put the club up as collateral. I would have just, no one has to know Inej's whereabouts. Just sneak out, have her taken with us, and then repay the debt when I get back. You know, none of these bad guys. Apparently, Pecker did the same thing. He came in and he threatened him. No one is playing by the rules, so why is Kaz trying to play by the rules? But he's definitely one of the more interesting characters as well, though. And I mentioned in the last episode that I don't think his feelings towards Inej are purely transactional. I think he does have some affection towards her. If he's willing to go to this extent to keep her around, so we'll see how that relationship evolves going forward. So, all right, guys, be sure to post down below, let me know your thoughts are on this episode. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one.